The following is a program of the Santa Barbara County Education Office. To learn more, visit sbceo.org.
Hi, I'm Susan Salcido, Santa Barbara County Superintendent of Schools, and I am so delighted to introduce and welcome my guest today, Adriana Arias, who's a senior at Santa Maria High School, just days away from graduation, and the president of the Future Farmers of America chapter at Santa Maria High School, and also was selected to be a representative in Sacramento at a leadership experience. Adriana, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here and we can share your story today. And I think as we share your story and talk about even your future goals and vision for what's ahead, a good place to start is at the very, very beginning. So let's start at the beginning. Where were you born and raised? Tell us about your childhood.
So I was actually born here in Santa Maria. I'm raised by my mom. She's a single mother. She raised me and my older brother Sergio, who's a student at Modesto Junior College studying animal nutrition, as well as my younger sister, who's currently a sophomore at Santa Maria High School. And so, we come from a Hispanic family. So my mom and my dad both came from Mexico, actually the same town, which is really neat. So whenever we go back and visit Mexico, we always, talk to both sides of the family, which is really neat. So I absolutely love my background and my culture. And so, my family has played a really, really big role in who I am, and I'm really thankful for them.
That's wonderful. And when you visit Mexico, what city are you visiting?
We're visiting the state of Jalisco, near Puerto Vallarta.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could mention your family's hometown.
Yes.
And you grew up and born and raised here in Santa Maria.
Yes.
What schools did you attend before Santa Maria High?
For elementary, I actually attended Rice Elementary, and then for junior high, I attended Fessler, and so then I transitioned to Santa Maria High School.
And it's been an incredible 4 years. We'll talk about your FFA involvement, but let's talk a little bit about where you intend to go in the fall. What school will you go to, and what do you plan to major in and study?
So I'll be attending Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Super excited, go Mustangs.
Congratulations.
And I'll be studying ag business. I'm actually really shocked I got in, but I'm excited to see what Cal Poly has in store. I know high school's been some of the best 4 years of my life, so it's really sad to see those years go by and move on to the Cal Poly, but I'm really excited. Ag business and agriculture have played a really, really big role in my life, so I'm excited to continue that.
Well, go Mustangs, as you said. They're very lucky to have you, and you're lucky to go there, right?
Yes, exactly.
And I understand that going to Cal Poly and studying ag, as you said you will be doing, has been somewhat of a family involvement per se. Your uncles have had involvement in your
Yes.
influence around agriculture. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my uncles actually forced us into 4-H since the age about 6. And so, little did I know, I would actually end up really, really having a passion, growing a passion for agriculture. And so at the age of 6, I was put in the scrapbook and the cake decorating clubs at Nipomo 4-H. And so from there, I started showing sheep at the county fair. And so this is my 9th year going into exhibiting market sheep at the fair. Mm-hmm. And so my uncles have really been a father figure to me as well, in addition to my dad, and so I'm really thankful for them. They've really shaped me into who I am today, and not only opened the doors for me through agriculture, since one of my uncles is actually a state officer for the FFA, and so he really opened the doors for me and kind of led me into this direction where I'm heading to. And so agriculture has been not only in our family here in the United States, but back in Mexico as well. My grandfather actually has his own cattle business over there. So wow. It's been continuing in the family for a very, very long time.
You must be very, very proud. And your uncle here, does he have a ranch or a farm? Does he work with animals himself?
Yeah, so 3 of my uncles together have a sheep herd in Napomo, and so they have a ranch over there. I keep my lamb for the fair there every year, which is really cool. And so yeah, they manage their own sheep company and their own business and travel around the state selling and buying sheep.
You must have learned a lot.
Definitely.
And did one of your uncles teach in one of your classrooms recently?
Yes, I have one uncle who teaches at Santa Maria High School and another one at Pioneer Valley High School. They both do teach agriculture, but here at Santa Maria High School, I did have a class with one of my uncles. I had vet science with him, and he really taught me a little bit more about sheep, what goes on in their body, and so it kind of just went more in depth rather than just exhibiting them physically.
I'm sure you learned a lot, but how was it having your uncle as a teacher?
Definitely different. The first time I found out that he was going to be my teacher, I was really shocked because it wasn't until my senior year that I got him as a teacher, and so it was like 4 years went by and finally I have him. But it actually really made a difference in my education and the way I learned, just because he's a really big goofball, and so he made learning a lot funner. And so he really made a difference, really got me, and not only myself, but other students engaged rather than just listening all the time. He was pulled out some jokes here and there, and he made learning a lot more fun.
A lot of fun. I bet you were proud of him too.
Yes.
Like, that is my uncle, right?
Yes,
Teaching the class.
definitely.
That's great. Well, it sounds like your family had such a huge influence on where you're headed. I mean, obviously it's something that you selected yourself as well. So it's a combination of family influence as well as your drive. And also school experience. Let's talk a little bit about the Future Farmers of America, FFA. And before we talk about your role, I know you're president of the chapter and it's just an incredible year and few years you've been in it. Let's first talk about the history of FFA at Santa Maria High School. It has such a tradition.
So the Saints FFA at Santa Maria High School started back in 1931, almost 80 years ago. So we're rooting for those 100 pretty soon here. Currently we have 8 advisors. Most of them have been there for more than 5 years. And we currently have student teachers who are going to be actual agricultural educators from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And so Santa Maria High School FFA has really opened the doors for so many people. This year has been remarkable for our chapter. We currently have almost 1,000. We're super close to hitting that 1,000 mark members. So we're really excited. It's grown tremendously. Started off with about 100 members back in 1931. And we're almost at 1,000 mark today, 2018.
Wow, so it's really grown and it's really
Definitely.
big and has such
Yes.
an influence. And what about the involvement your involvement in FFA? What has that meant to you and what has it done for you?
My involvement in FFA has meant the world to me. It's a little cliche to say that FFA is my life, but it really is. It's really made me who I am, taught me the many things that I've learned. Inside the FFA, I found a new home, a new family, so many friendships and connections that I guarantee that will last a lifetime. And so I'm really happy that my uncles opened that door for me to really join the FFA because it's really shaped me into who I am, where I want to go, and it's changed my life.
So a real family and an opportunity to connect with so many different people, I'm sure good friends as well as teachers, instructors, and mentors. And FFA has lots of different aspects about it. There's different fields, I'll just call them in terms of FFA. What was your part? What did you study and do?
My main part was leadership.
Okay.
I'm really big on leadership, on community service, giving back to others, and being selfless. And so since my freshman year, I know I mentioned my brother, he really opened some of those doors for me. And so he would take me to the food bank here in Santa Maria to Thrive, and we'd package meals for people. And so ever since freshman year, I really thought that devoting myself to others was a great way to find myself. And so holding leadership positions, started at reporter at the chapter level and slowly moved myself up to president at the chapter and sectional level. And this past year, I was actually a state officer candidate for the upcoming year. And so that was a really big accomplishment of mine. And I've looked forward to it for a very long time. And, even though things didn't work out as I hoped for, really taught me something very valuable in life. And hopefully next year turns out even better.
Lots of communication, lots of presentation.
Exactly.
And was there a specific area that you focused in on? I know there's dairy, there's vegetation, there's animals. What was your area of expertise within kind of the content of FFA?
I focused more on the vegetables and growth of vegetable crops, not only in our community, but different parts of the state. And so my junior year, I involved myself in the vegetable crop judging team with Mrs. Powell, one of our ag teachers. And so with that contest, we traveled up and down the state for the past 2 years and judged different contests, evaluating the quality of the vegetables, anywhere from tomatoes, onions, lettuces, broccoli, anything within those lines that are in the curricular code. And we identified them, we judged the quality of them, anywhere from vegetables to common insects and pesticides that show up on the vegetables, to the different variations of them.
Fascinating. That is really, really incredible. Things that you wouldn't learn in an everyday classroom. You're learning in such different ways in FFA and on the road and traveling with your team and coaches. You just mentioned a name of a person, Mrs. Powell, I think you said. And my understanding is that she's just been a really incredible mentor to you. Do I have that right?
Yes, yeah. She has been.
Tell us a little bit about her.
So she's actually a family friend. Like I mentioned, my uncles are ag teachers as well. So the ag teachers here in California are all like a small family, a small community. And so since a young age, they were at family parties. And so I got to really get to know them since a young age. And so when I came into high school, I already knew who they are, and they made the transition even easier. And Miss Powell has been just a great, great mentor, guidance. So she's been a huge part of my life, not only in FFA, but outside as well. And she's always supported me in anything that I do. And so I'm really grateful for her too. She's really been a huge part of all my accomplishments.
That's wonderful. And speaking of accomplishments, my understanding is that FFA and probably your other interests and involvements in school too, which we'll talk about in just a minute, has really opened the door to other recognitions and even some scholarships. Can you talk a little bit about what you have received as a result of the work that you've done?
Yes, so in scholarship-wise, since it's the most recent thing, so far I have my first year at Cal Poly paid for through scholarships and financial aid, so that's super awesome, really, really happy. I can definitely see that, you know, the hard work that people around me have pushed me to do is really paying off, so I'm really happy about that. And I've gotten several awards as well, anywhere from public speaking to leadership to different conferences that I've been to. So the most recent one was at our FFA Awards banquet. I got Outstanding Senior in the FFA, so it's really, really nice plaque, and really have all of them lined up in my room. So it's a really, really great wall that reminds me of everything that I've done.
Wow, congratulations on those awards and recognition. I can see how well deserving you are of those.
Thank you.
And the fact that your first year of college is paid for through really you earned it through those scholarships and all of the work that you've done. That's really, really incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so before we leave FFA and Cal Poly for just a minute, for Cal Poly, can you say how you think the FFA work that you've done, even in the vegetables and all of this kind of science that you've learned through that, will connect you to what you're wanting to study at Cal Poly?
So like I mentioned, I am going into ag business, and I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do, but I do know that agriculture is where I want to go. And so being part of the vegetable crop team and seeing my uncles in the sheep industry, I know that I want to definitely travel and do something with business. And so my plans right now are to be part of a international business company that travels to different parts of the world to discover and explore other countries' agriculture industries and provide innovation, new technology, new advancements to our country. I know population is increasing tremendously, and so we have to find a way to feed our world, and I think other countries have super awesome ideas, and I really hope to find those new ideas and bring them back to our country.
I believe you will do it. I really do believe that it will be done, and it will be done by you. Clearly, you're such a leader and have such spirit and innovation within you, so I have no doubt. And speaking of the leadership, I'd like to go there now, because at FFA, you're president of the chapter. You've had such many, many leadership positions, but aside from that, you've also played a major part in student government at Santa Maria High School. Tell us about your role and what that entailed.
My sophomore year, I joined our class of 2018 club, and so I was voted into the secretary position. And so that was the first position that I held outside of FFA, which was really, really neat because I saw a different aspect of leadership and how it's not always just an FFA, but it's everywhere in our daily lives. And so that was a really step out of my comfort zone. And so I was really happy I did take that step because I got to meet other students from my class who were graduating with me, who I had never met before. And so it was really neat. We planned several rallies and several fundraisers and other events for our class to get some money for prom, like how we just had. And so it was really, really neat to be part of that and work with different advisors all around campus. And so it was really a different experience, but I don't regret making it.
What motivated you to join that club 2018?
My friends had a really big influence in that. A lot of them had some super awesome ideas that they wanted to share and wanted to be a part of for senior year, for junior year. And so I felt like taking that step to really make those plans and those goals, really see them in person. And so I took that step. From them, they had so many ideas. I took their ideas and presented them to the rest of the club, to the advisor. And so from there, we took it on and, did what we had to do to really make those plans visible.
That's fantastic. And how was prom?
It was awesome. I think it was a lot better than last year's. Not maybe just because it's our prom, but no, the DJ was awesome. The people were great. Everyone looked super, super nice, elegant, classy. Great time.
Good. And you had a part of the planning of that prom?
Yes.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now tell us what you learned from those leadership positions at Santa Maria High School in student government.
There are so many great ideas that people don't necessarily like to share. And so it's always great to have that one person you can rely on to share your idea. Some people probably just haven't gotten to that part in their life where they feel comfortable stepping out of their comfort zone and really speaking up for themselves. And so I took it as one of my main goals to really get to know other people who are shy or quiet and really share their ideas, because whether we know it or not, there's some awesome ideas that we would have never thought of ourselves. And so I really learned to get to know a wide variety of people that I never thought I would talk to, and just really take that step and really get to know them. And so I've worked with so many people, different ideas, different backgrounds, and diversity is huge at Santa Maria High School, and so it was really, really great to actually experience that.
That's great. So really listening to voices, listening to ideas, and getting to know the different students, in this case at Santa Maria High School, to represent their ideas, right? Because not all of their voices are always heard.
Exactly.
And it sounds a lot like your Sacramento leadership experience. In that case, you were among the people that the assembly folks were listening to. So we're turning the tables there. They're the ones who were assembling people and listening to voices and ideas, is my understanding. Is that how that Sacramento leadership experience is created?
We did not have any assembly members there to listen to our debates.
Okay.
We did meet a couple of them the first day we were there. They actually swore us in as assembly members or Senate members.
I see.
But they were mock debates, and so they weren't there the whole entire time. The debates and the topics are created by the people who put on the conference, so California FFA. And from there, we just debate them. We do research on them prior to the conference with our other assembly members and sponsors on the bill. And so it was a great experience just to really see the whole gist of what really goes on in our government, and specifically related to agriculture.
So I see. So this is put on by FFA.
Yes.
They select some leaders from across California to come and debate around an assembly bill that has to do with agriculture and policy and government.
Yes.
Okay, and you were one of the debaters, it sounds like. Okay.
I was an assembly member.
You were an assembly member, you were sworn in. And so that experience sounds incredible. I mean, it sounds like it's just really for a select few students from around California. And did you get a chance to meet many other students from around the state? And did you get to challenge yourself as a debater?
Yes, definitely. I had already known a lot of people there out of the 75 that were selected, but I definitely did meet new people who I had never seen before, so it was really, really great to see other seniors who are in the same shoes as me, trying to figure out how this whole government thing works. But yes, I definitely did meet a lot of new people. That's always great. I love talking to people. And as well as just getting to know them and what their plans are in the future as well.
I'm so curious what your a nugget might have been in terms of learning around government. You said, you really learned about how government works and policy. Can you share a little bit about a lesson learned from your experience?
Yes, so as assembly members, we are representing a district, a specific district in California. And so the whole gist of this was to put our personal opinions aside and really put ourselves in the shoes of that assembly member that represents that certain district. And so it was actually definitely challenging to debate for our constituents and district and not put our own personal opinions in. So that was a really, really big challenge that I think a lot of us struggled with. But I definitely did learn that, it's important to voice our opinions for others, especially if we are in that position. And so I really got to appreciate the hard work that our assembly members do, because that was definitely very difficult.
Yeah.
But it was honestly a very, very great experience I'm definitely grateful for.
That's wonderful. It sounds like a really great experience for sure.
Yes.
Lots of lessons learned about yourself and government in our state.
Yes.
And I want to turn the tables a little bit and picture a young person looking at you, viewing this show, somebody who's a lot younger than you are, and saying, wow, Adriana is somebody really spectacular. She's been so successful. She's going to go far. If you were talking with a youngster, how might you advise him or her to be successful, to be able to be in your place years from now for them?
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned in high school, within FFA, within school and without, is to really be yourself. They say that happiness should not depend on others, and it shouldn't. It should really depend on yourself and your goals and what you aspire to do or be. And so the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And so community service was a really, really big part in my high school experience. And so if you have the opportunity to really step out of your comfort zone and do things that you usually wouldn't do, but still stick to who you are and be true to yourself, you'll definitely find happiness and really know who you are and discover what you can achieve.
Wow, that's really great. And it sounds like, being true to yourself, being selfless and really serving is one major ingredient to your success and advice that you have for youngsters. And as you go on to Cal Poly and beyond, what are some of the pieces that you'll bring with you in terms of, I'm going to follow this advice, I'm going to do this to stay on track at Cal Poly and beyond? What are some of the things that you'll do?
So I've actually looked into the ASI, the student government at Cal Poly, and so I've always held on to leadership, and I think I always will. And so student government at Cal Poly, I think, is one of my goals for my 4 years there. And so I hope to continue being involved in anything that I can. I know being involved really, I'd rather be busy than bored. And so I always try to find anything that I can do. And I think Cal Poly has a lot to offer for many students. And so I think that just staying involved in anything that I can, being organized is super big, and just time management, prioritizing is extremely huge part in being successful.
I love it. I can't wait to see what you do at Cal Poly. And let's talk a little bit about your time management, because everyone needs a good hint around that, I think.
Yes.
Everyone's super busy, lots of priorities, but you clearly have your calendar full of activities and events. How do you stay on top of it all? How do you prioritize and time manage?
I actually have an agenda, an actual physical agenda, which I write all of my activities, whether it's go to the grocery store, I write everything in there. But I also use my phone a lot, not for like social media or anything like that, but I use my reminders, my notes, my calendar. From the smallest things that I know I need to get done, I always stick it in there, because or else I'll forget, because I have a lot of things going on. So I always use my reminders and my calendar to really get me to do the things that I need to do, or else I'll forget. But my phone's been a really, really big part, and my agenda as well as getting things done.
And Adriana, I want to talk about, what it's like to be a student today. Here you are, just days away from graduation. There are some incredibly enriching, wonderful things about being a student, which I want to hear about. What do you think would be some of the more challenging pieces right now in terms of being a student today?
A lot of teachers or society really focus on the grades. Being a student, being so involved, it was definitely difficult to make up all the work that I missed for the days that I missed for conferences or different activities. And so teachers say that, as long as you know the material, you'll be good, but they tend to focus more on the actual physical grade that is put on your transcript. And I think a lot of students are learning that that's not what's really important. I think that it's actually learning what the material is teaching you, rather than, you know, just trying to get an A. I think that's the main goal, 4.0 GPA for everyone. But it's definitely difficult to do that nowadays, especially colleges want to see that you're more involved in school activities and, you know, just be a well-rounded student. And I think that's getting more difficult just because classes and the curriculums for the courses are getting a lot more challenging. It's just becoming a really, really big struggle, but there's definitely students who have that drive to do it, but it's good to understand that not everyone does. And so I think that's one of the biggest issues that my peers have faced and that I have faced as well.
Less about grades and more about learning would be something that you would promote,
Yes.
perhaps. And let's talk about the best things about being a student today. What are some of the best things right now about being a student in 2018?
It would definitely be learning and connections that I've made. And so I love to learn, whether it's from a textbook or from someone. It's always great to know that there's never an end to learning something new. And so one of my favorite quotes is actually by Gandhi, is learn as if there's no tomorrow, or somewhere like something like that. I kind of forgot, but it's live as if there's no tomorrow and learn as if there's always a tomorrow or forever. And so it's been a life quote, as in take advantage of every moment, seize the moment, and you know, go for it. Really, I know through the FFA I have learned so much, and it's really told me that, you know, there's always something new to learn every single day. And so going to class every day is super awesome because I learn something new every day. But through those classes, I've met so many friends that, you know, have stuck with me from freshman year all the way through senior year. And I know that we'll continue being really, really close friends. And those students who aren't friends as well, we're just acquaintances. I know that, you know, everything happens for a reason, but, you know, just getting to know who they are and what they stand for is really, really awesome.
Adriana, it has just been a pleasure to get to know you and tell your story about where you grew up, what lessons you've learned, pieces of high school, about your family, culture, background, and even your future. Your future is so bright. You've had such great experiences as a leader thus far, and anyone watching, myself included, can just see that you're going to continue to be a leader in our county and in our state, and I think in our nation. I wish you the very, very best and really appreciate the time you took to be with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. So happy to be here. It was really exciting.
I'm Susan Salcido, Santa Barbara County Superintendent of Schools. Thank you so much for joining us today for this edition of Schools of Thought.